Hello and welcome to Sparkling and Diamonds with Brittany and Robin, and I am Robin. Today I'm here to start off. September is Suicide Awareness Month, and so and to bring attention to mental health and suicide awareness, I wanted to do a very relaxed event. Diamond painting should be fun and make us happy and take us to bring what we're working on, bring us joy. And so this event is just something that I'm going to be doing throughout the month. So every week I'll put together like a prize pack, which is not going to be anything huge. It's going to be release paper, a pen, because we have so much release paper, so many pens, so many magnets, and we have enough to share and share the wealth because this community is so generous. And so I'm just going to put together a care package. And so if you would like to participate, any diamond painting that is legally licensed, you can participate. You do have to fill out a Google form though, and then I'll do a drawing. It will run from Saturday. I'll say we'll close it Saturday at midnight, and I will do a drawing on Sunday, and then we'll repost on Monday. So to start with, you'll post whatever you're working on, your project, with a positive quote or saying, and each week we'll look at your progress and see how far you've come. Now, progress could be 5 drills. Progress for some could be 20 drills. I just want to see that you've done some progress, and that's your diamond painting. But this is really more about mental health and bringing attention to the something that's often not spoken about. So it's Suicide Awareness Month with a diamond painting event. And I am so glad that you're here today. If you found this channel by how you come across us, if you're a regular subscriber, thank you. If something in the title, because it says mental health related, stood out, welcome. Thank you for showing up. Not just to create something beautiful with your diamond painting, but also to join me in talking about a topic that really matters, which is suicide awareness. And I want to start by saying that this is a safe place. The topic of suicide can feel heavy and even overwhelming. But the fact that you're here listening and creating along beside me is already an act of courage. You're saying, this matters, we need to talk about it. So, throughout this month, we're going to spend our time together to break the stigma and share education and spread hope. Each week I'll share a new video with different themes, and while you work on whichever diamond painting calls to you, I'll just guide you through some reflections, stories, and resources. So let's get started. I am actually working on a diamond painting from the One with a Diamond art. It's by Coco Marshmallow, and it is a doggy, and we are a dog lover family, and it called to me. And I started working on it, and I'll probably switch out here in a few days. But right now, this one's calling my name, and it is bringing me joy and happiness. And that's really important. So going back to the whole purpose of this, why suicide awareness matters. Suicide is something people don't often talk about, and that silence can be dangerous, and we need to change that. And so I want to talk about the reality. Suicide is the 11th leading cause of death in the United States each year. Thousands of family, friends, and communities are impacted. And it's not just numbers, it's people, it's stories, it's lives that mattered. But here's what gives me hope. Suicide is preventable. With awareness, connection, support, lives can be saved. When we break the silence, when we learn the signs, when we know how to reach out, we're giving someone else a chance to see them tomorrow. So I want you to think for a moment, what comes to your mind when you hear the word suicide? Do you feel scared? Are you sad? Are you unsure what to say? You're not alone, because all those feelings are normal. And the more we talk, the more comfortable we will become. So let's talk about breaking down that stigma, the myths and the facts. Let's talk about the most common myths, because these myths keep people silent and stop them from getting help. So the first myth is talking about suicide makes it worse. That is a myth. The truth is, asking someone directly, are you thinking about suicide, can actually save their life. The truth is, asking someone directly, are you thinking about suicide, that can actually save their life. It doesn't put the idea in their head. It opens the door for honesty and relief. Myth number 2, people who talk about suicide are just seeking attention. The fact is, talking about suicide is often a cry for help. It's a way of saying, I'm hurting and I don't know what else to do. This deserves compassion, not judgment. Myth number 3, only people with severe mental illness die by suicide. That is so not true. Suicide can affect everyone. Yes, mental illness can increase the risk, but so can trauma, financial stress, chronic illness, isolation, grief. No one is immune. Myth number 4, once someone decides to die, nothing can stop them. That is one of the most harmful myths. The truth is, most people who experience suicidal thoughts feel ambivalence. They don't always want to die, they just want the pain to stop. And that means support, treatment, and connection, and that can absolutely make a difference. Take a moment now as you're diamond painting or listening to this video, whatever you're doing, and think about a myth that you've heard about suicide. And how can you reframe that myth with the truth? And now let's talk about warning signs and risk factors. There are things that we can look out for in ourselves and others. Some of the most common warning signs include withdrawing from friends, family, and activities, talking about feeling hopeless, trapped, or like a burden, major changes in mood, sleep, or behavior, risky or reckless behavior, giving away belongings or saying goodbye. Risk factors include things like a history of trauma, substance abuse, chronic pain, or recent major losses. Now I want to be clear. Seeing one of these signs doesn't automatically mean someone's going to attempt suicide, but it does mean that something is going on and it's worth checking in. And here's a tip. Don't be afraid to to just directly ask. You can say, I noticed you don't seem yourself lately. Are you thinking about suicide? It may feel scary to ask, but studies have shown that asking can lower the risk and help that person feel less alone. And now let's talk about some stories of hope and resilience. I want to shift gears here for a moment and talk about hope, because while this topic is really serious, there is also much resilience out there. There are countless stories of people who have struggled with suicidal thoughts but found their way forward. Some through therapy, some through medication, some through community support, and some through creative outlets, just like the diamond painting. You're doing that right now. And one story that really stands out is a young woman who shared that at her lowest point, she felt like there was no reason to keep going. But someone noticed, and a friend simply asked, "Are you okay?" and really listened. And the moment of connection gave her the strength to seek help. And today, she shares that story publicly to encourage others. So stories like hers remind us the presence of a caring person can change the entire outcome. You know, I went out today and got lunch for Brittany and I. And as most of you who follow our channel know, I've been sick the last few weeks. And it's really, the first week back at work and beginning to get things back in gear. And I went in this restaurant, Chicken Salad Chick, I think it's called. I'm terrible with names. You guys know that. There was this lady there, and they were really busy, and I get really anxious when there's a lot of people. Actually, Brittany's kind of like my support who will go and do things for me. And so, she'll be there with me, and my partner, my buddy. And this lady was there, and they had messed up her order, and Brittany had sent her order in, so I ordered. They gave me my order. The manager, very nicely, he came up and he gave me a card, a discount card, because they were remaking Brittany's food. But the lady next to me, I said, "Did they give you her order and you got the wrong order?" And she said, "I got to my car and I saw something in the bag." I'm like, "Wait, I didn't order that." And then she said, I opened it up. She said, "I was going to just go on and eat it anyway, but I opened it up and thought, no, it was something I totally didn't like, so brought it back in." And I noticed the manager knew her. You could tell she's somebody who had been there a lot. And we got to talking, and I said, "It's so nice to talk to you, because all these people and activities made me feel very anxious." And in that moment, my anxiety was completely lifted because I was interacting with that person. And, it's funny, as the manager brought me Brittany's order and said, "Here you go." And I said, "Thank you." And I said, "It's so nice talking to you." She said, "Thanks, tell Brittany hello." I just thought that was so funny. And I don't know the lady's name, but that's such a connecting moment. And it's such a real story. And I think it goes to show you how important, it is to connect with others and be kind to others. But I want you to think of a time in your life when someone showed up for you, or maybe when you showed up for someone else. How did that feel, and what impact did that make? That's a lot to take in, isn't it? When someone showed up for you, or when you showed up for someone else. Being sick over the last few weeks, I don't post a lot on social media. But I have made a few posts about, I did Wind Beneath My Wings, and made a post about Brittany, and then last night I did another one with this song Brave, and I posted about Brittany. And the reason I do that is because over the last couple of weeks, Brittany has had a lot going on between juggling her own work and a sick mother, and my father-in-law has been in the hospital. His cancer had came back, and he had to have surgery, and he was in Duke Hospital. And so my husband was driving back and forth, working, taking care of his mom and dad as much as he could, also coming here and just sitting and being with me, and Brittany sitting and being with me. And that was that meant so much. Natalia came by one day. Natalia is a member of the diamond painting community. Natalia is the longest diamond painter I know, 2016. And she brought me flowers for the office. But, I went down and talked to her and hugged her, and I also called her, which is something I don't normally do. I don't normally, I don't normally do the social media thing, and I'm not the phone person. And so I called her just to again thank her. And those people meant a lot to me, and they showed up, and I want to be able to be that for somebody else too, and I hope I am, and working with my patients. And that leads us to the art of healing and self-care. Let's connect this back to what we're doing today. Diamond painting isn't just a hobby; it's a form of mindfulness. When we focus on placing each diamond, we slow our thought down. We stay in the present moment, and that kind of creative focus can be powerful for people who struggle with racing thoughts, anxiety, or even depression. Art gives us a safe place to express what words can't. And community like the one we're building through this event, it reminds us that we are not alone in healing. And so there are practical steps to reduce stigma. So what we can actually do beyond this event to reduce the stigma around suicide. Here I wrote a few simple but powerful actions. Start conversations in your circles. Don't be afraid to ask them how someone is really doing. Share prevention resources on your social media. You never know who might need them. The suicide hotline, the 988, NAMI, they have all those resources. Attend local suicide prevention walks or awareness events. Pay attention to the language you use. Instead of saying committed suicide, say died by suicide. Language matters. It shows compassion, and that is really important. I always say death by suicide. I never say committed suicide. I always say death by suicide. Don't use the word committed suicide. Each small step chips away at stigma, and it builds a culture where people feel safer reaching out. So as we wrap up today's session, I want you to carry this thought with you. Suicide is preventable. Talking about it saves lives, and each of us has the power to make a difference. This week, while you're diamond painting, I encourage you to reflect on one myth you used to believe about suicide. And how can you reframe that myth with the truth? And maybe even share it with someone in your life. And remember, if you are someone that you know is struggling, you're not alone. In the United States, you can dial 988 anytime to connect to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. You can also text HELLO, HELLO, to 741-741. And there are people waiting to listen, to support, and remind you that hope is real. So I want to thank you for joining me in this week one video. Your presence here matters, and together, by learning, by talking, even by creating art, we are breaking the stigma and spreading hope. And so I'll do another big video where we're going to focus on the power of connection. But before I end this, I want to remind everybody to take care of yourself and remember you're never alone, okay? That's so important. You're never alone. This diamond painting, when I started diamond painting, I never imagined where it would bring me. Who would have thought picking up a diamond painting would change the way I spend my evenings and bring happiness and joy to my life and help me make friends. And that's what you all are, my friends. You're my people out there, and I love that. I can't say enough about this community and how they step up for each other. And we see it with supporting small shops. We see it in how we interact with each other. And even like true family, sometimes there may be a little bit of a disagreement or whatever, but you work it out. You talk about it, work it out. And because nobody's perfect, I mean, heavens knows, goodness, in the crocheting video I made, I was getting so frustrated, and that's when I started singing Your True Colors Are Shining Through, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I want to just throw this thing. But anyway, so don't forget to be kind to everybody, both in the real world, in social media, and in the comment section. And I will see you in our next video. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Bye.